Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are talking about my favorite thing, books, but in specific we are talking about my top 5 favorite books. These are stories that have either moved me, challenged me, made me cry, and that I still think about to this day. I've got a mix in here. We got some literary fiction, we got some classics, we've got some spiritual growth stuff, and I just am so excited to share these with you guys. And if you end up picking any of them up, please let me know, and I am so excited to hear what you guys think. So whether you're looking for your next favorite book or you just want to hear me talk about my favorite books, go ahead and grab your drink, grab your popcorn, and let's get into it. But before we do that, make sure that you guys subscribe and hit the like button, and make sure you guys turn on notifications so that you never miss a video. Alright, let's hear about my favorite books. Alright, first we are talking about East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This has been my favorite book for probably about 10 years now, and this is probably above like any other book. So I had to start strong with this one. So this book is set in California. It's a generational saga that parallels the biblical story of Cain and Abel. It follows the lives of two families, the Trasks and the Hamiltons, and explores themes of like good and evil, free will, and redemption. So I love this book for literally so many reasons. One of them being that the writing is just so lyrical. It just feels absolutely timeless. Like, you could read this in literally any decade, and I feel like it could just touch literally any reader. We know John Steinbeck is one of the greats, but this book is just so special to me. It has so much character development, especially between Cal and Lee. And one of the big themes in this book is about Tim Shell, which means thou mayest. So like, the book wrestles a lot with this thou mayest not type of theme, which pretty much just means like the power of choice. So all throughout life we have the power of choice, and we have free will to do what we want to do, and just kind of how the book dissects that has always been something that's like always in the back of my mind, and it's just such a powerful thing to think about. It truly is a book that sticks with you like once you've finished it. Like, it's something that you'll think about for years to come. I remember when I first read it, I remember even in my Goodreads review, I'm like, you know what? This is a book that like I want to come back to at least every 5 years, just like different periods and seasons of my life. I feel like it just touches you differently in every different season of life. It's definitely one that you want to come back to and read every couple of years, because I feel like it just will touch you in a totally different way. And I know it's a classic, and I know that can scare some people, and I honestly get that way too, but with this one, I would not feel that way. I first read it when I was like 17 or so, and it immediately became one of my favorite books. So like, don't feel scared of it being a classic and it's a little bit thick. Like, I honestly would just give it a shot, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Next up, we have The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I probably said that wrong, but that's okay. But this book literally destroyed me, I will say. This is the most recent one out of this whole list that I've read. I read this sometime last year, and it immediately became one of my favorite books. Not of just 2024, but like of all time. Like, it's just something about the writing and the character development, which I'm realizing is going to be a common theme for these, but this is honestly so powerful and so moving and just so meaningful. I feel like it's just not like a surface level book. It really truly like cuts super deep and gets to the core of like mental health and other things like that. So this novel follows Phoebe, who's a heartbroken woman. This is not a spoiler because they tell you in like literally the first chapter, but she unfortunately wants to end her life, and so she goes to this hotel and she books like the fanciest room that they have, and there's actually a wedding that's going on at the hotel while she's checking in, and she ends up getting caught up in this wedding and meeting all these different people from the wedding, so hence the title, The Wedding People. And you not only get to know like all of those characters, you really see her break down those walls and really start to heal like her inner self. It's really beautiful, to be honest. So like I said, this book literally destroyed me. I was sobbing by chapter 2, I remember, and I probably was sobbing the rest of the way through. So it can be tough to read, especially if you struggle with mental health or anything, so trigger warning on that. But at the same time, like, it's super quirky and funny and heartfelt and like honestly relatable. Like, even if you don't struggle with those things, like the way that she talks about life, it's heartfelt and relatable, and it's honestly just a really like touching story. So I really appreciated like the honest look at mental health in this book. They didn't really sugarcoat anything, but it still was able to make me feel like warm inside. So like, although it's talking about something that's really difficult, that can be really difficult to talk about, they did it in a way that just makes you feel like good by the end. The writing also has a really charming tone. It's bittersweet, but it's not necessarily like cynical. I'll also say that like one of my favorite things when you're reading is when you read a line and they kind of describe something that you felt in your life that you've never been able to describe or articulate, and then you read it and you're like, oh yeah, like that's how I feel, like, oh, that's what that is. And it just kind of gives you like this like little epiphany in your brain, and it just like helps you have self-realization about like some of your own feelings. And like I said before, even if you don't like struggle with that, just the way she describes like things in life is just so relatable, and I think really like any walk of life could relate to this. But overall, it's like unexpectedly funny and just like really healing, honestly, in like a soft kind of like somber kind of way. It's never really over the top, but yet there's always a lot going on, and I just love that about this book. So this is definitely a really great one that you guys should pick up. The next one is The Help by Kathryn Stockett, and I don't have this physical copy anymore. I need to get one, and I probably will soon. But we're moving on to historical fictions. You guys know I love my historical fictions. So this book is set in the 1960s in Mississippi, and it follows primarily 3 women, a white writer and then 2 black housemaids. And pretty much they risk everything to tell the stories of the domestic work that the maids are doing. This is one that I'm like particularly excited to read again. It's been a really long time since I've read this. I'm pretty sure I even saw the movie first when it came out, but I read the book after it and I still loved the book more. So I just feel like this book is so powerful, it's so well written, and it's super emotional. So like, you guys know I love a emotional historical fiction, and this does not disappoint. So it has like shifting perspectives, and it really just like gives a lot of humanity to each character. The characters, Aibileen and Minnie, are also just so unforgettable. Their voices just like feel so real and honest. And if you guys remember the pie scene, like if you know, you know, but like I don't think I'll ever forget that. Like that's gotta be like one of the best things that I have ever read in a book. So I absolutely love that part. But like overall, this book is just so heartwarming, so funny, and I just love it so much. So if you guys know any books that are similar to this one in particular, like I would love to hear it. I've tried to do like some research on that, and I haven't found like anything super similar. But if you guys have any like other historical fictions, maybe in like the 1950s, 1960s, I'd love to read those. So like let me know your recs down below. All right, next we have Radical by David Platt. So if you are a Christian, this is honestly like, I feel like a must read. It truly like challenges you to kind of think about your lifestyle, think about how you're living life, and just like how you can really make an impact in the world. And it's honestly amazing. It really challenged me in a ton of ways. I read it probably about 10 years ago, and this book holds like a special place in my heart because I remember when I was dating my husband, or I was just talking to him actually, and we hadn't gone on our first date yet, and I wanted to lend him this book. So that's how we went on our first date. I was like, oh, I'm gonna lend you this book. So then we met up and I lent him this book, and he ended up loving it as well. This book in particular is just full of like annotating and stuff and underlines. Like this is one that you will definitely learn something from. And like on the back, it's so cool. It just says, what is Jesus worth to you? And it says, it's easy for American Christians to forget how Jesus said his followers would actually live, what their new lifestyle would actually look like. They would, he said, leave behind security, money, convenience, even family for him. They would abandon everything for the gospel. They would take up their crosses daily. But who do you know who lives like that? And do you? So it pretty much just challenges you to kind of open up your heart and analyze kind of how we're living our life, and are we just kind of coasting by and not doing anything to like further the kingdom. So it really is super, super powerful. I want to read this one again too, because I read it like honestly a long time ago, and the things that were in this book really stuck with me. I definitely want to read it again to see like how I think about it now, and if I still agree with it as much as I did before. So even if you don't take away 100% of things in this book, if you have theological differences or anything like that, it's still a powerful read and you'll get something out of it. And it's not super long, so honestly worth it. Alright, our last one is Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. This little book is really something. Doing this video has made me realize I need to reread all of these ASAP. So maybe in the future I will do a video of me rereading my favorites, see if they're still 5 stars, and see like my current like ratings and thoughts on them. But this book is a coming of age book, and it's told through letters. You're following a high school student named Charlie. He's an introverted high school freshman, and it just kind of talks about him like navigating friendship and his first love and mental health. and it's honestly really little too. So like this is another quick read that you just can't go wrong with. This book is honestly so raw. It just like really cuts to the chase. It's raw, it's relatable, and it's really emotional. So I think my common theme for the most part is that I like sad books, which is funny because it's like, I wouldn't say like that's the first thing I look for, but I guess when I think about books that are 5 stars, they usually moved me like deeply emotionally. So I guess that would make sense if I cried in a lot of these books. So Charlie's voice in this book is just like really honest and vulnerable, which I appreciate. And I think that's another like common theme. It's just like everyone seems so, in all of these books, everyone seems so real and like honest, and they don't really like sugarcoat anything. So like they might have beautiful lyrical writing in some instances, but like it's not really about that. It's just more so about just kind of laying out how they're feeling and just really being honest. So I think I really like that kind of perspective in books, especially fiction. So I know the radical doesn't really apply to that, but that's kind of like a separate genre. But otherwise, I feel like going through like all of these books kind of is making me realize how similar they are in a lot of ways. But anyway, back to Perks of Being a Wallflower. I just feel like this book captures being like a teenager so well. It really, and even if you think like maybe he's being dramatic or something, like that's just like part of being like a teenager. I really think he captures that in a way that feels really real. So the famous quote from this book is, "We accept the love we think we deserve." And honestly, it's iconic and it's always stuck with me, and I've always loved that quote. So I just absolutely love this book. It's really emotional, and you guys should definitely pick this one up too. So those were all the books. We had East of Eden, we had The Wedding People, we had The Help, we had Radical, and now we had The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And honestly, going through those, like I was trying to think about like what are my favorite books, and I'm looking through my shelf, I'm looking through my Goodreads, I'm thinking of the ones that just immediately pop into mind, and I could not be more satisfied with this list. So definitely will be making a video soon rereading all of these and letting you guys know my like updated 2025 thoughts. But also I would really love to hear about your guys' favorite books too. So definitely drop those below, and also if any of them happen to be my favorite books too, like let's go ahead and bond. I'd love to hear about that. And also if there are ones that you think I should read, like let me know. I have lots of videos to film, so I have lots of room for reading. So if you guys have any favorites that you guys think should definitely go on my list, please let me know. And otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you guys don't miss a video, because we will have lots of future bookish chats. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next week.